The Life Forge, immortalized. Congress, how it applies, and the quote-unquote truth. You have three parties. One, serving both. Two, one against the other. One holds truth. The other holds lies. One in the middle, no surprise, says, if we all hold it, no one holds it. But that's a lie, too. Because you don't have the truth. So there's nothing to fight for now. What you get is friction with these words for a dialogue like this. Also, you have this forge on a boat. The Congress is the owner. The cabinet has all the supplies to catch fish. Outside of that now, the fishermen on that boat are lawyers, and they go out and collect it. The wisdom is arbitrated by those in power now to serve a common law. However, the only one's common with that is the one holding the hilt of this information, which is being hammered on both sides with my experience where I am now by that very same system. And I've been hooked a few times by a few of your fishermen. And I think we're getting tired of getting hooked by that. So listen to me now. There is a large spectrum of information everywhere from 1912 to 2012, and then some now, that is hard to absorb. In Revelations, they say when these things happen, great wars will ensue. Of course, yeah, but you need about 40 more years for that to happen. And we got to get there still, too. So, that's Star Wars. That's going to be a bit of a shock, so let me just give you the buffer zone for that now. It's not exactly as much of a shock to the older generation as the younger generation is shocked by that now, because they're literally the reason we had Jetsons. They knew this too. They watched it go from the Jetsons to Scooby-Doo. Now we're solving mysteries. Because in the 50s, like I said, listen, you need 70 years to think back. Why did they give themselves a 70-year gap for the information? To buffer that zone, because they were saving you from that, from them, from ourselves, and trusting the process as it's happening now. And where you find yourself in this process is poetic. There are many places. Just because a lawyer's on the boat doesn't mean that's the only way we catch fish in life now. There are many attractions in this world of quote-unquote rides. But while Pinocchio was outside of Geppetto's office, trying to find his way back, he didn't realize it, but that's just how the world is, and that's our children who are in shock, because now, 40 years from this moment, we got 70 years coming to say, I gotta knock you back and own it. And that hurts. We know it. And that's what I mean, it's not a shock. The information was there, but now it's happening. You're not preparing for anything. You don't know what's going to happen. But someone, somewhere, is going to make things happen when it's time. And that's because that is the human mind. That's how it works. That's the polarity of something that is unifying a moment because it thought it could. And it does, and it will when it's time. That's how it works. It's very good. That's still not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So what you're learning to do is trust your government again. There's a good reason to do that. You don't have to fear anything, but if you fear things, you make things very difficult, and we don't have time to wait for you to be afraid. At all. At all. So if you're scared with the information, it's because you don't have enough. If you will be so kind as to remove your blinders, aka bias, for anything, and just absorb information naturally, like you read a book, or whatever. Don't get involved emotionally. Just absorb a science class, okay? Good story. Oh, no, these are skills. And yet, it's still a story because it's our story that wrote that. So, back to the hills, and that's what I'm saying. They do have eyes. And we're going to give credit to where credit is at. Because our government and us, all of us, have held these secrets, these truths, in ways that you could not possibly imagine. That was very hard to do. So, young, new tycoons of the world, get wise and respect your elders, and they're all over this planet in ways you would not have imagined. So welcome to the Free Men in Black. This is the sequel, ×2, to the second power with you. Because I'm not in that reality with you, I'm somewhere else. I'm just saying if we're going to be poetic, then we have to be relatable. So I'm relating to you with what you know. And I'm telling you, you don't. And that's okay, because you have to let that go. You don't have to be embarrassed to say, I don't know. You don't. It's okay. I don't know everything, and I don't want to know. And I'm going to tell you something else. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing. There are things they are holding that still hurt me today. And I'm glad they're holding it because they were chosen for that. They carry their own cross in their own very special way. And if you were aiming for that, shame on you. Because we all do. No one wants you. No. You don't need to question them anymore. You have to trust that the system is taking care of itself where it's at. And it does. I know that because now I have enough information to feel comfortable telling you that there is no reason for me to lie. I would not. I would never. I could not. If I tried, wow, fuck me. I would never. And that's why. Because I know where I'm at. And I'm not here to lie to you. But we got to hold the truth well, because 70 years is coming back to smack us all. And if our elders aren't ready to receive the information, they might find revelations happening just like overnight, because the information's there now. We're already doing everything that Revelation spoke about. I'll promise you. So, it's done. What's happening now is testing. But we're not testing. This is the real deal. So this is the one chance to live your life, to make your choices for real. We're not playing with death. And we like it like that. That's how you live. But you got to know what you're living for and why. They died for this too. And that's why I said you give respect where credit is due. The credit comes from respecting yourself. If you respect yourself enough, it's because you got enough information to do that and sit casually, comfortably, calmly with individuals who have information, who like to get amped up too. But when we do, we share it equally. Until someone says, no, you do it like this. No. That's wrong. It's not what our Constitution represents as a free man of the modern world. And you think that for being what it is too, they're being pushed around by the next generation, the new generation, the information tycoons. That's because we have it. But if you push too hard, you're going to be part of a system that self-destructs because you didn't listen and you pushed too far. With the information, I'm saying you can stop with what you have and be okay with that too, until you're uncomfortable because everyone else around you is starting to learn. Well, guess what? We're already there, and we've been there for a while. Now that is for a very special few, the ones I grew up with, because I've been outside this box for a bit. Enough to know that I got the world's information, not just from this side, but from their side too. Because I made friends in other parts of the world with you. Germany, Canada, Brazil, India, Philippines, New Zealand. Ooh, Australia. Yeah, I forgot about Adam, an artist. Where else? And all of this within the last, 4 years. So, since it started, no doubt. 2019 was supposed to be 6 months of done, and look what they're still spinning around. Well, who's they? Well, that's the part we're spinning out. But you gotta be patient. Man down. You've been shot. Well, it takes time to get information, to get the man out of the battlefield. So when you're in the zone, you don't have to be upset. You have been shot. Relax. We got you now. You're going to heal. What I'm saying is give it time. That's the deal. You don't have tenure for you don't have a tenure that looks like Putin, though we do have a Putin in office. That's the good thing about Congress. I'm going to tell you why. Because now we get to change it. And just like I said, that's the life force. Rearranging everything. That's real. And it's me you're forging here, too. Because it's them you're forging. Bipartisan, you're not. You're not bipartisan. You're not by anything. You might as well say you're bipolar. And then they'll tell you are and put you in. But no, we're not going to do that because that's the box they built for themselves too. And if they want to do that, they're going to judge that in you, then they have to live through that themselves. That's how God works. Guaranteed. So, we don't do that. And in the spirit of God we trust because you couldn't see it. Well, if atheists are bumping into that information now, don't get defensive because you didn't know how to talk to it. And definitely don't regurgitate anybody else's words or start throwing scripture at me because that's a fight. You didn't bring your words. I want your words. And I want to have the right to have this conversation without being pushed around. So when we're having this conversation in the future, you're going to respect my opinion solid because I'm not going to fight you for it. Though I could. Next time that happens, I'm just going to be silent. It'll be all right. Just know, you've offended me. I don't have to tell you why. You know. I know. And I've told you. And that's the last time. I don't have to tell you again. If I did, you're challenging me as a man, you're challenging my opinion, and that further irritates me. Now you've become the antagonist, and I have to protagonize you with it. Because I gotta let you know what synonymous means. And why it has an antonym now. To pull yourself back into polarity, I have to I have to pluck you from the ranks of the insane. Might as well dive into the ocean just to do it. So we can plunk around too. It sounds like a pirate word. I like pirates. Anyway, and just go with the flow. Because making mistakes is part of it. That's what I know. But when you build a dialogue, don't come at me with flips and tricks because I just got treats for you. I know. And all I'm going to treat you with is respect. And it'll either be with words like this, without the bias, without neglect, because I do love you enough to have these conversations and not be afraid of them now, which is a very, very good thing. No one should ever fear talking about things. Free information is free information for a reason. But there's certain information that you're just not ready for, and that's what the government is about. We're overseeing an issue between these beings that are younger tycoons, basically pulling the rug right out from under our government, going, we don't need you now. Well, you do. You do. You do. That's what I meant earlier by self-destruction. You do. Don't be a young punk tycoon and come in pushing around NASA and all the work we've done because you think you got it too. You do. But how much more do they have than you? Be humble. You're just one person. And you know who I'm talking to. Now, that's respect. What does that mean? To replace the characteristics of your mind with something that it didn't know, which was my words, until now. Now you do, so you don't have to worry about that. Because I will not lie to you, as I said. I could not. I would not. I dare not. I would not. And so I don't. This is the last time I'm going to do this for others in the way that I'm doing it now, because even these words are too much. I have a good feeling probably 99.9% of you would not be listening if you were involved with this at a personal level, because you think I'm barking at some of you somehow. No, this is information for myself. This is how I grow. And this is what I know. Government's got it. That information is hard to swallow, yeah. Did everything happen the way that I said it would? Yeah. But they wrote that future. And we won't neglect it. That's what they wanted to do. They had free will to do that. And so do you. You can write your future as well. If you don't feel comfortable about doing that, that's probably because you need more information now. And if you need more information now, the internet is where you find it. So give government time, because we've got nephews, nieces, brothers, sisters of these soldiers, not just soldiers, but our govy, and those men in black. They are on the surface. It's real. But those are the ones They hold these truths for you in such a way that it is hard to take from them the effort it took for them to be who they are, to stand by you and watch mothers and fathers of the red, white, and blue honor this truth now. Because that was hard. And we're not going to leave our soldiers behind. That's not a rule. No, they weren't properly relieved of their post because war in the Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, in Kabul, any of those places, this is a training ground. That's the best way and the nicest way for me to say it. And I know it sounds impersonal, because it kind of is. But I'm pretty sure that we all have feelings for each other because we're family, whether you're American or not. America is one of the most culturally found places on the planet because we all come here to mingle with our freedom. If you didn't like that anywhere else, well, communism works on the small scale. It's not doing much for me now. So I don't want to harp on that. It's all going together. It's part of the spectrum. If you don't like one, it doesn't like the other. It's no better than the parties beating each other. And the bipartisan word, I give it to you, it's going back in the water because it's the whole world now. And that system is a tool. And I described it from you. And it's the same tool that came from the Roman rule and that comes from Greek rule. That is a Roman fact. Now, it mingled with imperialism, which creates a communist society because there were times where we needed to do that. That's called the Great Depression. That's where it happened. And we all did it at the same time, all over the world, at the same time, trying to figure it out. And we did, we do, we still got the truth. Here it is 100 years later, and it's getting harder because if you're not open-minded and you're biased and you hate things like that, then loathing is all you're gonna have when it's done. Wisdom will not be with you because you didn't want it, and I can't help you with that. As one. You gotta do that now. Now I'm done. Because it's been a bit too much, been a bit too long. But trust your govy, they're not wrong. Trust the system, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and know what's happening now. Get all the facts. Don't just trust a single source. Get all the sources, and then put it together. What's common? What's not? Thanks. That's all you got. Yeah. Have a beautiful day. It is much larger than this moment, and this moment is over. So just like that, I want everybody to be happy. I want feelings to be good. I want you to get out and love the government because we do. And I trust it is with God now because it is, and I know it. So in God we trust, and it's on our bill. I get it. I do. I love you. Thanks. We're home.